Hello, welcome to yet another analysis segment. Today we will be covering feature spreads, which have to be the biggest and most covered aspect in a magazine. Okay, this is just a quick overview of two of the many feature spreads in this Vanity Fair issue. I did align the images in order to make it seem as if you were viewing an actual paper copy. I thought it might make it easier for you. Here are another two feature spreads. I included an additional two just so you can get the gist of how Vanity Fair chooses layouts for their issues. However, I'll only be picking apart one of these feature spreads. Among all of these feature spreads, I noticed a trend, a little pattern. The vast majority of the images, with exception of one of the images on page 55, are midshots. All images, besides the one on page 46 and 47, do not cross the gutter. Some cases, such as the case on page 54 and 55, have multiple images as a focal point. Now, I'm just going to lightly touch up on it for now, but there are plenty of instances in which pathos and ethos are used to communicate with the readers. This is a feature spread I chose to pick apart. In all honesty, it was my number one choice as it was, in my eyes, the most unique feature spread. It's the gutter fisher. Crossing the gutter just did it for me. In terms of image technicality, there is a lot to be found, regarding how plain it may seem to some. For instance, the easiest term to knock out of the park is a two-shot, as there are two models present. This is also a mid-shot, although the picture captures the models a bit lower than hip length. There is high-key lighting, as the models are well lit from the front. To further add on, the models are wearing monochromatic costumes, that is, if you disregard the bits of white present in the costume to avoid the models from looking too boring or drowned out. Last but not least, the editing is very obvious. There was a black and white filter inserted onto the image. Layout in this feature spread is evenly distributed between the text and the image. There is one page dedicated to each aspect, disregarding the bit of image that crossed the gutter and onto the following page. In terms of font, a few things stuck out to me. The first being hard to miss, the drop letter. The drop letter is what indicates to the reader where the text portion starts off. The fonts are also all in black, although there are some instances of font weight, so it is still pretty easy to determine the points in which have greater importance. The text is also all in serif font, but when referring to the little things such as clothing on models, it is in sans serif. Now, here's where I can go into a little bit of detail about the language used in this feature spread. From the feature spreads that I did show earlier, there are a lot of instances in which pathos and ethos are used. This feature spread specifically is riddled with pathos. There are many successful attempts in trying to connect with the actors mentioned in the spread and the readers. This spread goes into detail on how the actress Corin relates to her character on the Netflix series The Crown in multiple levels. Well, this concludes our analysis for this certain feature spread. Sure, there is still a lot to learn, but we are taking those steps together. There is a lot to observe and many techniques yet to learn and master, but we'll get there. Thanks for tuning in, remain curious and take care.